Hi everyone, I'm so excited for today. This video is inspired by Dr. Golden Muhammad's amazing book, Unearthing Joy, and her insistence that we develop curricular fluency as educators. And so as a leader, maybe you're a team leader, maybe you are a principal, a district leader, a curriculum lead for a content area, whatever it is, you can help build that curricular fluency in your teachers. And I'm going to teach you how. I'm going to share with you, I'm going to do a screen share and a walkthrough, but I'm also going to share with you the option to sign up for these resources. So a slide deck, an agenda, all of the pieces that you would need to actually facilitate this piece. So here we go. This is what you're going to do with your teachers to develop curricular fluency. Let's get into this agenda. So this is your sample agenda. You can take it, you can personalize it. But again, acknowledgement to Dr. Golden Muhammad, who writes about this concept in Unearthing Joy. I think it's really important to ground the conversation in where that comes from. And feel free to read her book. I think that would be a great entry point into this conversation. So here's what we do. It's based on a 60-minute staff meeting, so you may have more or less time, but opening, closing, 5 minutes each. You give no more than 10 minutes of process guidance, and then our creation time is the bulk of the time. So that is where teachers are actually creating. You're going to leave space for about 5 minutes of feedback at the end, and then a place for share out, because that's really what inspires people to believe it's possible, see what's possible, think about the creation. So key questions are listed here. You also have a bunch of resources here. I like to think about the sources of inspiration. Now, in Dr. Muhammad's book, she talks about how you can actually look right in front of you for inspiration. I also love pulling from things that I daily listen to. So podcasts, there's several examples here on the Hill model from Dr. Muhammad. And you can also create a feedback survey, just make a copy of this. So when you click into this, it'll actually bring you to a Google folder. You're going to just right click on the survey, make a copy, and then stick that link in here. And this is ready to go. I love creating a space at the bottom here so that teachers or teams of teachers, depending on how you're facilitating this, can actually link to whatever product they create. Or just type it into those boxes, in text. I have also linked slides here. So let's go ahead and open those up just so you can get a sense of how this would work. So you have all of these pieces here. You don't really have to remember things from the agenda because they're built right into this. This is all built with ADA compliance, coloring and font as well. How do you feel when creating new lessons or units might be a nice piece to start with? So thinking about that feeling orientation, where are we? So native-land.ca, really grounding this in a sense of justice and place and people. Community agreements, you probably have your own. These are ones I would start with, and you can edit from there if you'd like. And then you're going to say, today we will create. I love starting, and if you've seen my intensive agenda templates before, I love starting with what we will create. So we're actually doing something in the time today, in the actual session. It's not learning that you need to go apply after. And I think that's important to position for teachers. So we're going to outline units from Inspirational Sparks. We talk about, where we might find inspiration. I love including this quote from Dr. Muhammad. I like to focus on the 3 of 5 pursuits that Dr. Muhammad talks about in her Hill model that are less common. I often see skills and intellect. I think that's a really big piece of what we naturally do as teachers. So I like to focus on the 3 that I see less. So identity, criticality, and joy. Put these questions up, have them grapple, define joy here. And then I like to think about, okay, so what are we actually creating? I love creating around a driving question. And because there's only 25 minutes, I think just the driving question, which is hard to create, but also really powerful and will frame the rest of the unit design, is a good place to focus. Driving question features are here. Driving question frames, if we need kind of a sentence starter or a frame to get started, and some examples are here as well. I like leaving that slide up when they're actually working. I also like to think about the co-creation process. So think about that while creating the unit idea or the driving question. Where do students get the opportunity to still create and personalize it and do this with teachers and alongside teachers? Project format ideas. If you get to that point where we're developing the unit idea and we get to what will this look like for students to demonstrate their learning or address the driving question, these are some ideas for the project format. And then you can create a protocol or use one that you already have. I like praise, question, suggestion to be able to have people to share and then get feedback on whatever they create. So they share their unit outline, whether that's a driving question, a project, or both. And then any challenges, questions, or aha moments, just to kind of reflect on the experience. Think about what worked, what was helpful, what they want to do differently next time. And then the share out. What's one next step that you can do? What action can you take to continue building your curriculum fluency? Offer to invite them to share feedback, and that's it. I encourage you to do this regularly. start of every staff meeting, once you've really introduced the process, you can just take 5 minutes to say, go around, pick one thing in front of you or one thing you experienced today, design a driving question or project idea around it, whatever makes sense for you. But I think the regular practice is huge. Use these resources, personalize them however you would like. I'm just trying to get more people to develop that curricular fluency. In that vein, we can also use social media platforms. I use Twitter and LinkedIn primarily to share every Monday, as of this recording, every Monday, a unit dreaming spark. So hashtag unit dreaming is how you can kind of follow along with that or find a bunch of those to go off of. But I share a podcast, a page of a book I'm reading, a picture, or something that's in front of me to help spark and practice that curricular fluency. So if it's the spark that's difficult for you, feel free to follow along and check that out. And as of right now, the way that this is set up to get all of the slides, the agendas, you can sign up and you actually get one per week that are 4 different staff meetings around the broader topic of designing for instructional justice and curricular justice. So feel free to go ahead and sign up for that. The link will be in the description below.